Hello and welcome to another episode of Archaeobotany History. In this episode, we'll cover the history of cattle breeding in ancient Rome. Amongst the livestock found in ancient Rome, cattle were amongst the important animals grown. And it was during this ancient Roman time that many of the pivotal traits found in modern livestock occurred during this time period. So Dr. Michael MacKinnon created a paper to elucidate the origins of these breeding practices using both ancient texts and archaeological evidence, which we'll discuss in this episode. In ancient Rome, the most prolific writers on agriculture were Cato, Varro, Comella, and Palladius, as well as the writers of encyclopedias of that age, which include Pliny the Elder and Aelian, spelled Aelian, not to be confused with Martians. Cattle were vital in Roman economics, especially in agriculture. Pliny the Elder states that their purpose in life is a partner in labor and in animal husbandry. In fact, Italy's name derives from the Latin word vituli, which means baby cow. The breeds listed by these ancient authors usually conform to the geographical location this breed is found in, although their status of breed is unknown, considering that you need to do genetic testing to determine if they are actual breeds. As a result, in this paper, breed is used as a colloquial term rather than an official term. This paper also makes the assumption that ancient and modern geographic boundaries are the same, which is somewhat justified since the provincial boundaries found in modern Italy are nearly identical to what's found in Roman ancient borders. And the environment these cattle occupied were likely similar to what was found in ancient times due to archaeological evidence. The second assumption is that reproductive isolation was present, which would allow breeds to form, i.e. there was minimal interbreeding between different individuals between geographic locations, which is possible due to the natural ecological and environmental barriers such as mountains, rivers, marshes, and widely varying temperature locations within Italy, as well as the different cultural, social, and linguistic separations between these ancient peoples in Rome. Now on to the experimental results of this study. The archaeological evidence found in the 97 Italian dig sites were gathered from different dig sites that are dated to different time periods. Those of ancient Roman Republic origin, between 500 BC to 50 BC. Those sampled of imperial origin, 50 BC to 300 AD. And finally late antiquity, which goes from 300 AD to 500 AD, were studied. And here's the results. Cattle were raised in a wide array of different areas, and after studying the different bones, teeth, and skull sizes, there was a wide array of different strains due to the wide array of different bone and tooth sizes to be solely the result of size variation between the sexes and too vast to be constrained to one breed. The second thing that was discovered is that there was a general increase in size in cattle, especially in height, within each geographic zone, from the ancient Republic era up to late antiquity, indicating a gradual increase in breeding for size was going on during that time period. Stockiness, measured by width and depth of bone, also increased over the different time periods in each geographic area. There are some notable examples. The Latium cattle were noted to increase in height between the imperial and late antiquity times, but not earlier. But stockiness seems to be a continuous increase in that type of cattle, indicating that breeding for increased stockiness came first before increased cattle height. Given that the transition from republic to empire created greater urbanization, would have also meant that there was a need for more and more muscular cattle to be bred to cope with the increased population. It could also be possible that the increased height may be because of crossbreeding with another type of ancient cattle called the Umbian cattle, which were already taller by that time point. In the area of Umbria, there is no changes that can be statistically verified in stockiness in that region between the Imperial and Late Antiquity times. This may be because the full extent of how stocky you can get your animals was already achieved in that area. Compared to other areas in Italy, Umbrian cattle rank among the tallest, if not the tallest cattle in Italy. The many texts also mention two breeds of cattle in Umbria, which include large cattle and small cattle, but only large cattle have been found in the bone records. Apennine cattle show a different trend. There was an increased height from the ancient Roman Republic to late antiquity, but no statistically significant changes to stockiness, indicating that it's possible that in this area cattle were not used extensively for work purposes due to their less stocky nature, possibly being replaced by donkeys and mules better suited to the mountainous region this breed was found in. The companion breeds of cattle show evidence of being used as a multi-purpose plow and meat animal during earlier times, but were bred more and more for height in comparison to the Latium strain. Considering that the earliest known companion cattle were incredibly small to begin with, their height increase was likely easily obtained because you're going from 0 to 1. So selective breeding could cause rapid increase through simple selection much faster. There's also evidence of very large individual cattle appearing in Republican contexts, possibly indicating that some of these large individuals may be of imported Greek varieties, such as the Epirote cattle breed. It is possible that Greek breeds of cattle were used to improve Roman breeds, and southern Italy was the first to receive these imports, which explains the rapid increase compared to most other varieties of cattle at that time period. Alongside the more fertile lowland pastures in the south mountain areas. Based on the range of the Apennine varieties of cattle, as well as the fact that they did not show much variation in length or width during contemporary periods, suggests that this alpine variety seems to be the most resistant to climate change over a period of time. Now on to speculations on the origins and reasons behind these new changes. Based on the textual, bioinformatic, and archaeological evidence, many factors have been found that may have incentivized the changes in the cattle breeds of that time period. One is the increased pressure to produce more food. During the Republic era, when full-time legionnaires were stationed all across Italy to deal with many disputes. Although as the empire expanded, there was also a decreased demand for military provisions due to many wars being abroad rather than being at home, proverbially speaking. Another factor that may have pushed these breeding practices was the rapid demographic growth of Italy during Roman imperial times, caused by increased urbanization and many other factors. This increased population would have needed to be fed, and much of Rome's grain at that time was being imported from other countries. This was done through taxing provinces in Africa and Egypt, but the demand in Italy would still be high. And various Roman agricultural writers claimed that the best managed livestock farms used increased sophistication when it came to husbandry and arable cultivation and pastures to increase the fodder of animals. Increased fodder alongside breeding could augment cattle size within individual cattle. During the Imperial and Late Antiquity era, breeding stock was also moved to the market to be auctioned off, much like it is today. And during this time, regulations on how good the cattle had to be was constantly increasing, further encouraging greater and greater breeding practices to improve the cattle. These would include stress resistance, good conformation, and the accurate weighing of cattle. This would have also created competition, which would have pushed this process even further. Markets would also showcase imported breeds, which may have also improved the Roman breeds overall. There's also the frequent problems of ancient times that would have pushed better and better breeding, such as the allure of new markets, threats of starvation during a poor harvest year, the opening of new trade routes, and the age-old pastime of war, would have encouraged breeders to improve cattle to feed people during such times. Well, that covers everything. Thank you for watching. Thank you for watching this video. If you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe to me on BitChute for a greater variety of content, 4 videos a week. And thank you to all my subscribers on both platforms. I appreciate it.